Hello gamers and welcome back to another video of mine. Today we're making a worst to best video about the LMGs in Phantom Forces. And I'm still gonna say this, worst doesn't mean bad. Just remember that please. But yeah, with nothing else to say, I think we should get right into the list with the worst LMG in the entire game. And it's the LMG known as the MG3 KWS. Yes, I'm going to go as far as to call it the worst LMG in the game. I know a bunch of you guys will just go to the comments and be like, oh my god, the MG3 KWS can fire at 1000 RPM and it's not bad, you suck, you're idiots, I hate you. But listen, sure, this gun can fire at 1000 RPM. It has pretty okay recoil, but it only has 50 bullets, trash reload and trash long range damage. For a gun that shoots 7.62 times 51mm. And it only has a damage range of 60 studs, which means it can only 2-hit kill up to like 70 studs. Which isn't very good either. The only thing that this thing has going for it is literally just armor penetration, suppression, and the ability to kill anyone in CQC. But you won't kill more than like 3 people with 1 magazine because of its fire rate. But yeah, it isn't the best weapon in the game, but it isn't worst either. It's super mediocre, and if you're wondering what setup that I use for this gun, it's reflex sight, muzzle brake, folding grip and green laser. I don't know, the MG3 KWS is just super overrated and it's just getting too much praise. It sucks and it's all, well, it doesn't suck actually. It's okay. It's an okay LMG. It works, the setup that I use works pretty well if I'm gonna be honest, but that doesn't make the gun amazing. But that's just the worst LMG in the game. The second worst LMG in the game is the LMG known as the MG36. It's at this spot because it has gotten nerfed very hard and it just isn't amazing anymore. Before I think it had a 1.1 torso multiplier, or it was that you could use AP on it to make it a 4-hit kill torso all ranges. Now it's just your mediocre 4-5-hit kill automatic weapon with a lot of bullets. And I also think they nerfed the reload time for it because it just feels so much slower than before. It shoots at 750 RPM with a damage of 30 to 23, which is pretty okay, but nothing groundbreaking. But it does have 100 bullets in a magazine, which is pretty cool if I'm gonna be honest. It's like a G36K that ate a little bit too many cheeseburgers. A little bit too many, yeah. And it just got a fat mag with it. I don't know, it's I guess. The setup that I use for this gun is reflex sight, compensator, folding grip and green laser. I mean, it works pretty well. It's just not very good like the gun. I don't know. The third worst LMG in the game is just the AK-74 and crack, basically. The RPK-74. I don't really know what to say about this one. It's just, You can 2-hit kill headshot in CQC, which is pretty good, I guess, but it only has 21 min damage. But that doesn't really matter, since the only damages that matter in min is like 25, 24, and 20. So between 24 and 20 doesn't really matter, because it will always have the same hit to kill. But it can 2-hit kill headshot up to 90 studs, which is actually pretty good. And it has 650 RPM, which is just okay. And last but not least, it has 45 rounds in a magazine, 2.9 seconds reload, and a mediocre 135 bullets reserve. This gun is pretty good, but not near the best LMG in the game, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's pretty good, but it's not the best. The setup that I use for this gun is a reflex sight, compensator, folding grip and green laser. The next LMG in the list is the LMG known as the Colt LMG. The Colt LMG is pretty good if I'm gonna be honest. It has 60 bullets in a magazine with pretty good damage. It can 3-hit kill a limb up to like 80 studs and has pretty okay recoil, 700 RPM and 60 bullets in a magazine. But it has pretty incredible reload time. It has a 2.9 second reload time for a 60 bullet magazine, which is pretty bonkers. This gun does 35 to 20 damage, and it does have a 1.1 torso multiplier, which means it can 3-hit kill torso to further than 80 studs. It can 3-hit kill torso up to like 100 studs, I think. The gun is also the starter LMG of Phantom Forces, and I think it really fits its purpose. It does really good damage, has a lot of bullets, and it's easy to use. It's pretty much just a good gun in general, if I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, that's a Colt LMG. I use reflex sight, compensator, folding grip and green laser on it. It's pretty obvious what I use on it, but sometimes I switch between stubby grip and folding grip, and sometimes I switch between muzzle brake and compensator. The fifth worst LMG in the game is the HK21. and it's basically just a better MG3 KWS. It has 100 bullets in a magazine with 800 RPM, unlike MG3 KWS 50 round magazine with 1000 RPM. And that means the HK21 can conserve ammo much better than the MG3 KWS. Dude, I can't say MG3 KWS. And it also basically has the same reload time as the MG3. It has 39 to 29 damage, which is incredibly good, and it has a damage range of 80 studs, which is pretty okay. But because of the fact that it has 39 damage, it can 3-hit kill limb up to like 110 studs, and 2-hit kill headshot up to like 100 studs, which is also pretty good. But since it has garbage recoil, you won't hit a lot of heads. And you should just use it for CQC, well, unless you have a controller, so you can have magnetic bullets, which basically makes the HK21 a laser. But we don't talk about that. It's a goddamn CQC gun, and use it like one. The setup that I use for this is AR suppressor, stubby grip, and green laser. But yeah, that's the HK21. Now on to the 6th worst LMG in Phantom Forces, which is the RPK. But now, instead of calling them the worst, we should start calling them the best, because we're getting closer and closer to the first spot. So yeah, RPK. It's just an RPK 74 on crack. It has slightly slower fire rate with hella more damage and hella penetration. Just take your RPK 74 and throw it in the trash, because because the RPK is just so much better than the 74. It's not even funny. Yeah, crackhead 74 basically. I love it. But yeah, there's not much else to say about this gun. It basically is just an RPK 74 on crack. It has slower fire rate, high recoil, way better damage, better penetration, yada yada. It's just better than the 74, okay? And the setup that I use for this gun is compensator, folding grip, reflex sight, and green laser. But yeah, as I said before, we're getting onto the best LMGs in the game. So the 5th best LMG in the game is the cool LMG known as the 𝙎𝙩𝙖𝙧. It's just a shonk 𝙎 L. It can free kill torso up to 110 studs, a 4-hit kill all ranges to the torso, which is pretty good, but it can only 4-hit kill limb in CQC and 5-hit kill limb in LRC, which is pretty bleh. But the torso multiplier is here to save the day by making it do some quirky ass damage, and the 3-hit kill torso up to 110 studs is nothing to scoff at. It will literally just yeet you instantly. It has 50 bullets in a magazine, and it's basically just an H-bar with slightly worse recoil. But that recoil really just makes it so much worse than a H-bar. It does have 200 reserve ammo too, which is a lot, and actually helps it a lot, because of if you're using an LMG, you definitely need a lot of reserve ammo to survive the entire game. But yeah, the setup that I use with 𝙎𝙬𝙧 is reflex sight, a compensator, stubby grip, and green laser. So yeah, the 4th best LMG in the game is known as the L86 LSW. This one is my favorite LMGs of all time, because it literally breaks the enemy's ear when you shoot at them. It has 3000 studs per second muzzle velocity, pretty bouncy recoil, and insane damage. It has 35 to 25 damage, which means it can 3-hit kill in CQC and 4-hit kill all ranges. And it has a damage range of 90 to 160 studs, so you can basically 3-hit kill limb up to 100 studs and 3-hit kill torso up to like 120 studs. This gun is just an L85A2 on crack cocaine. I don't know, it's just an angry L85. It literally extended its barrel because of how angry it is. And now it fires bullets at an insane velocity. So instead of killing the person, it just gives them permanent hearing damage. The setup that I use for the L86 is a reflex sight, muzzle brake, folding grip, and green laser. It works incredibly well if you want to get rid of that bouncy recoil. And yeah, and fun fact, the L86 has the best muzzle velocity in the game, tied with a few snipers. But yeah, that's just the 4th best LMG in the game. The 3rd best LMG in the game is known as the RPK-12, and it is only here because of one reason. It's 1000 RPM burst. It has pretty bad damage of 32 to 21, but it has a very low recoil and a 1000 RPM burst, which means you can kill people at any range incredibly fast without any problem. And it has even more reserve ammo than the RPK and RPK-74. The RPK has 135 reserve, while the RPK-12 has 180 reserve, which makes this gun even more usable than the other RPKs because it has so much more bullets. And this basically simulates what the MG3 KWS is actually capable to do at LRC if it had low recoil. Yeah, I don't know. Its damage range doesn't really matter that much, but if you want to know, it's 100 to 180 studs, which is pretty good, because yeah, it's really good, but it has pretty bad damage. It can forward kill limb up to like 150 studs and 5 kill limb past that, which is pretty okay, but keep in mind that it has a 1000 RPM burst and will still annihilate you, so don't underestimate it. The setup that I use for this gun is reflex sight, muzzle brake, folding grip, and green laser. Yeah, it works. The second best LMG in the game is the Aug Hbar, basically just a better 𝙎𝙬𝙖𝙧 hammer. It can free kill torso up to 80 studs, which is pretty okay, and it can free kill limb up to like 30 studs, which is pretty bad, but remember the 𝙎𝙬𝙧 hammer can't even free kill limb. The Hbar does the exact same LRC damage as the 𝙎𝙬𝙧 hammer at 23, and it also has a 1.1 torso multiplier, so it can forward kill torso all ranges, which is amazing. The one redeeming quality it has is that it has a laser recoil. Like, there's no recoil. It will literally annihilate you at 400 studs if you're not careful enough. It's just like a laser like all the other AUGs in the game, but this one is just more of a laser, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, the setup that I use for this gun is a reflex sight, muzzle brake, stubby grip, and green laser. It works, and it works. I don't know. The best LMG in the game will not come as a surprise for you. It's just M60. I don't know. It can 2-hit kill headshot up to 135 studs, or like 140 studs. 4-kill limb all ranges, has 100 bullets, pretty good recoil. Yeah, it's just a crackhead gun. It will kill anyone and everyone. There's nothing else to say about it. It's just amazing. The setup that I use for this gun is reflex sight, muzzle brake, green laser, and reflex sight, muzzle brake, folding grip, and green laser. Yeah. But yeah, that's the video. If you enjoyed the video, press the like button. If you fucking hated the video, press the like button. Buy my merch even if I don't have any, and I'll catch you in the next one.